Sweetheart, I'm back. Hey, I never explained where I went or what happened, and I had to figure a lot about myself, and I'm sorry I didn't keep you informed, but something came up, and I didn't want to believe it at first, and this was kind of a long thing going. And I want to be honest with you, okay? Do you remember when we first met? I waved and you waved back, and we made jokes that we were both low-key worried that we were waving to other people behind us, and yeah, well, besides it being a cool meetup at the bookstore, when I first met you, I thought you were pretty, and I still do, don't get me wrong, but like, it's just, I hadn't dated anybody in so long that I didn't know if I was doing it right or if, I was gonna say something stupid and ruin it. But, so, we started dating about a year, 2 ago, and the last time I was with someone was like 8 years ago, but 8 years ago I was a very, very different person. I mean, I was still in high school. I think I must have been like 16, 17 at the time. And I was lazy. I was fooling around with this one girl, and her name was Alice. Alice stuck out like a sore thumb, and I stuck out too, but both of us for very different reasons, but stuck out nonetheless. We found common ground in that, and one thing led to another, and we were fooling around. And I don't know if I was just reckless or if I was too stupid to realize how dangerous what we were doing was, but what's that happened. And I didn't think anything of it, and she never told me anything. And then she got really sad all of a sudden. And Alice's family stuck out because her family came from money. And, so everyone always tried to talk to her and tried to see if they could get money or this and that out of her. And obviously, Alice wasn't very impressed with that. And, I didn't really care about her money. I didn't. I just wanted somebody who liked me for me, and she did. Anyways, look, she got really sad, and I tried to comfort her. I tried to explain and ask what the hell is going on. And she just kind of stayed quiet. And one day I never saw her again. And, it really hit me hard because I loved her, and I felt like deep down it was my fault. So I didn't want what happened happening again. So I turned my life around. I started what little I had of high school to go into my studies, and then after I freaking did studies, I started to go to college, and I got a job, and, well, no. I started college, met you, got a job later when we started to move in together, and I've been busy ever since, But 3 weeks ago, I got a call, and it was from a number I didn't know. I picked it up, and it was Alice. Alice told me she wanted to talk, and I told her straight up that I was like, look, what we had was special, but that I moved on, and I have a girlfriend now, so I'm not really trying to, trade in or, my loyalty's here. That's not, and I'm not really trying to do any of that. And she takes a long, long pause, like 3 minutes long. And I ask her if she's still on the line, and she's like, look, I'm not gonna lie and say that I didn't want to get back together, but that's not the main reason I called. I'm calling because I wanted to wait till you were in person, but you have a son. And obviously, that was a shock. I was like, whoa, slow down. A son? But that was so long ago. And she explained to me that she didn't want rumors being spread before she moved. She got pregnant. She didn't tell me. And she was afraid I would tell everybody. And so she moved, and her parents came from money, so the child was never like, it was never like they couldn't raise it themselves. And she became a mom. And of course, we fooled around, but we were never official back in high school, so I told her, I was like, look, I'm not saying you slept around with everybody or anything. I'm not trying to accuse you, but I just need to be certain that this kid is mine, because taking on a kid is a very big responsibility, and that I'm a very different man than the one I was in high school. And just dropping something like that, it's not just something anybody would actively take and just be like, yeah, I believe you. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, I know we talked about early in our relationship that we didn't want to be fooling around. And it's true, I didn't want to be fooling around anymore, because I knew that's not the life what I wanted. And I just found out I had a son 3 weeks ago. That's why I hadn't talked to you, because I was still figuring all this out. I didn't want to tell you, oh, hey, by the way, I have a son. And then we go to the DNA test and find out, oh, surprise, surprise, he's not my son. You know what I mean? And then just drop a bombshell that didn't even exist. So, yeah. I took the DNA test, and I saw the kid, and, Robin is his name. And God, when I looked at him, he was a good kid. And they had him sit in like the waiting clinic, and we were talking, and she just kind of broke down. And she's like, I understand that you have a girlfriend, and so I know we can't get back together. And I know that that my parents come from money, so I don't need money from you to raise this kid. But he needs a father, and I want him to have a father that he can look up to. I can tell you've changed, and that's all I want. I want him to have a father, because that's the one thing I can't give him. And so I talked with him, and he's real quiet and shy, but his imagination, it's crazy. I mean, he's so insightful, and when he talked to me, he was like, his mom has told him about what's going on, and so he's not completely unaware in all this, but he just looked at me and he was like, look, I understand that you didn't know about me till recently, so I don't blame you for not being there, but I just wonder, did you ever love my mom? And this next part really, really caught me. Do you think you'd ever love me? And my heart just shattered. And he reminds me so much of myself. The way he holds himself, the way he's brilliant, and the way he doesn't believe in himself. And he just needs someone to guide him. I waited to tell you all this because I love my son, and I get that he's not your kid or even your responsibility. So I totally understand if what I say next you don't want to be a part of. But I talked with Alice, and she wants to fly him out every 2 weeks or so, so he can hang out here and be with his dad, because I can't just fly out whenever, and she's willing to do that. And I wanted to say yes, but I know we share this apartment and we go halvesies on this. So I feel like you have a say here. And honestly, if you're not on board with this, I just want you to know that I will go out to see him. I don't know how, and I honestly haven't thought that far, but I know I want to be there for my son more than anything. And when we finally started dating, I felt this feeling that, life was worth living, that I wanted to live to give that happiness that you bring me so much of. And when I saw my son and the way he did things like me, it changed something in me. Something that obviously I want to be a part of, but I was hoping you would want to be part of his life too. And again, I know you're not his mom, And he's not your son, but I love you. And I love him. And if you'd be willing, I want him to stay here. I mean, like, it's, well, there's so much I want to do with him. I mean, the boy's 8 years old, and, I just feel like he hasn't had a chance to really enjoy all the kid things that he should have done with me, or, you know, I know I want to do this because my father was always working, and so I never saw him. And so I never blamed him for never being there. So when my son never blamed me for never being there, it really hit close to home. And I have a choice to be there, and I'm going to. I know, it's kind of a lot. That's why I waited to tell you all this, because I wanted to make sure of a lot of things before I told you, and, I really want your say in all this. Of course, sweetheart, I love you. This is not about Alice. This is about us and my son. And with your approval, I want him to be here. I've already talked it over with Alice, and she's totally okay with not me and her being a thing. But of course, I only want him here if you approve it, because you're my girlfriend, and I hold you as my equal here. You mean it? Baby, can I hold you right now? I was so ready that you wouldn't want anything to do with him, and I totally would have understood, but God, I am so excited. I'm so excited to show you. He is so wonderful. And nothing fills me with more pride and joy to know that you support this decision. Yeah, honey, what is it? Yeah, honey, it was never a question of whether I was loyal to you or not. And I told you I didn't want to fool around until we were married, and you want to get married. No, I am not checking out here. Honey, you are my rock, and I feel like most people, if they got surprise, I have a son, they would just up and leave. And not that I'd blame them. but you chose to stick by me. Sorry, I paused. Look, if you want to get married, I'll, I'll totally marry you. 100%. Okay? I'm in this. I'm in this for you, and I'm in this for my son. Okay? And if you're willing to take some of that baggage that wasn't planned, I'm willing to take this. I'm not that I feel like obliged, like I have to. Okay? I am willing. Okay? I just, you know, marriage is a big thing, but honestly, it was a pretty big thing what you did. Okay, so no, yeah, my mind is made up. I will marry you. I promise. Cross on my heart. I swear. Okay. No, I'm not having doubts about it. It's just, God, life is just happening so fast now. I mean, 3 weeks ago, I just found out I had a son. Then I had to figure all that out after school and work were finally starting to ease up, and now we're having to plan and prepare for the wedding. I mean, I guess I thought at some point in life, like, things would have slowed, like, some action would have been taken, but I wouldn't be going through life so fast, And I guess I wish sometimes things would slow down, but I guess responsibilities are important, and no, I don't regret any of the decisions I made. I mean, if I didn't do the decisions I did, then I wouldn't be here. And I love my soon-to-be wife. Can I kiss you? I mean, oh, my son, Robin, he's great. I mean, I could talk to him, I could talk about him a lot. And honestly, I feel like, I would love for you to meet him in person, but I've told you a little bit that he's kind of shy and he doesn't hold himself very confidently, but he's a great kid. I mean, so we started talking, and he plays games, and I was like, "Oh, what do you play?" And he's like, "Oh, have you ever heard of Fortnite?" And Alice didn't know what Fortnite was, and so he assumed that I wouldn't know anything about Fortnite. I'm like, "Are you kidding? I love Fortnite." It's like, what skin do you like to run? And he's like, "Oh, I like this, his name is Sunspot. Do you know him?" It's like, "Yeah, dude, I know Sunspot. He's got like a puffy jacket, and he's like a sun. Yeah! And he's got the snowman style too. Uh-huh. He's so cool. Ah, I see what you did there." And he's like, "Oh, no. I mean, I didn't plan on that, but..." And I'm like, God, he talks so much like me. I mean, I didn't tell him that, but I was like, my heart skipped a beat a little bit. And then he's like, "Oh," and he kind of stopped, and I guess at school it's not as cool, but he was like, "I really like Minecraft, and, I build these things," and his builds were pretty good. I mean, I don't think he really follows tutorials, but I think he's not bad. I'm certainly not a builder, so it was kind of impressive to see, And so, besides him, like, just building stuff, he's like, "So do you, like, play Minecraft?" He's like, "Oh, I've played Minecraft before." And like, I told him I had netherite armor, and he was like, "Oh, no way! How did you do that?" And like, and he knew how to get netherite, but he couldn't go to the bastions because he just, he didn't, like, it was too tough. And I told him, I was like, you know what? It's pretty hard, and honestly, it's kind of rigged. I wanted to say something else, but he's a kid. I didn't want to, start swearing in front of him, and then he starts swearing. I mean, he's a good kid. I don't want to poison him. But I was like, you know what? They're a lot easier when you see the piglin broods, keep some boats, and they get trapped. And he's like, oh, no way. And so, I told him to bring plenty of boats, and then bring a bucket of lava. Because when you pour lava over the piglin, then you damage them a lot, but then that doesn't technically count as like hitting them. So then the other piglins don't get mad. So then I told him that. I walked him through getting like the bastion, and he got a template. And he was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna make my first netherite piece of armor." And I told him, "Wait. Do you have diamonds?" He's like, "Yeah, I have like," and then he had like 4 stacks of diamonds. I was like, "Duplicate it." And he's like, "What?" And so I told him how to duplicate the netherite template so you could get netherite everything. And he's like, oh, "Whoa!" And he just like, he was doing it. And I was like, he didn't know how to do it. And then I was like, and I just told him, like, "Congratulations, son. You have full netherite armor." And you did it. And he hugged me so tight. And he was like, "I couldn't have done it without you, Dad." That's when I knew I loved this kid so, so much. I know. I can't wait for you to meet him. He's gonna be great. Yeah, honey, I'm a little exhausted and all this. I mean, you were always great with that shushing technique. And you play with my hair. I just love to play with your hair. We get ourselves to fall asleep at each other's cuddles. And